This Playboi Carti ranking is the most important video you will ever watch. Not only in today's video will I be ranking every single one of his albums based on how controversial they are, I'm also going to be ranking every single one of them from worst to best in the second half of this video. With that being said, get you something to snack on, maybe some cranberry juice, some Cheerios, and let's get right into it, bro. I'm not going to waste any time. The least controversial Playboi Carti album, in my opinion, is Self-Titled. And my biggest reason for having this at number 4 is because of the fact that he kind of sounded decently normal on this. Like, he wasn't doing too much of an alien type of voice. He wasn't doing too much of crazy stuff. He was really just having catchy songs, catchy flows, other stuff like that. I mean, people obviously around this time did not like Playboi Carti that much because he was a part of a new wave of what people called mumble rap. Like, people didn't like Lil Yachty. People didn't like Playboi Carti. People didn't like a lot of the people of that era. But as time went on, it became less and less controversial. So, I mean, I guess in a way, there's multiple ways to view this. You could be like, oh, is it controversial now compared to controversial at the time? Because, bro, people were saying crazy things in 2016, 2015, the same way that albums were perceived different back then than they are now. But modern day, I think that Self-Titled is the least controversial Playboi Carti album. And at number 3 here, I have Die Lit. And this is when Playboi Carti started being like high-pitched. And a lot of people did not like this. A lot of people were like, bro, what are you doing, bro? You're a grown man. Why are you making like high-pitched noises and stuff like that? Little did they know it would get so much different, bro. Like, if you did not like Playboi Carti back then, at like Die Lit era, you were definitely not gonna like him in the future. He has entire like groups of people who don't like him because they think he's satanic now. All this stuff has happened. But at the second most controversial Playboi Carti album, I have the most recent one, I Am Music. And I think that every single album that he drops, he raises his voice an octave. As well as, this is a very bloated track list in my opinion. I actually just recently dropped a video on this. I kind of disliked it in a way. I disliked a lot of the things in this album. But as time goes on, bro, I know it's only been like less than a week, but it's starting to grow on me. There's songs like Olympia, Lie is an incredible song. Actually, a good amount of the track list is pretty good. I think like 20 great songs, or maybe, I'll say 15 great songs, 10 good songs, and then like 5 really mediocre songs. And I'm not gonna lie, the replay value of this album was a little bit upsetting. I think that, okay, I'm not dissecting this video into the second half, bro. I'm not dissecting the albums to the second half when I'm actually ranking them. But this album had a massive delay, bro. I'm talking about like an entire year delay. It was crazy. And it just kept getting pushed back, probably even more than a year. People were expecting this album back in like 2021, back when it was called Narcissist. People were expecting a lot of stuff from Carti. He just lies. He's like a professional Pinocchio, bro. Like, he could really cosplay as Pinocchio and people probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But with that being said, at number 1, in my opinion, I think it's obvious. The most controversial Playboi Carti album is Whole Lotta Red. And it was just a complete shock. Like, with I Am Music, we kind of had like an idea at this point that Carti's kind of like a very experimental artist. But back then, back when Whole Lotta Red dropped, we were like, bro, what is this guy doing? Like, what did you just do? Like, your last album was already a little bit weird, but now all of a sudden you're a vampire and you're also a Satanist or something like that. I don't know, bro. A lot of people really did not like this genre of Carti, this age of Carti, and it did inspire a lot of people, bro. Like, we're also gonna talk about that in the second half of this video, but this album inspired a lot of rage music, you know what I'm saying? Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, all of those exist because of Playboi Carti. You know what I'm saying? He carried them in his womb. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, though, that leads me to the second half of this video, and that is, what is the worst and best Playboi Carti album? So the worst Playboi Carti album right now, as it stands, is I Am Music, in my opinion. And I understand that might be a hot take. I actually don't hate this album anymore. I think it's, after a couple of days, I never hated it. I thought it was okay. It was definitely not worth the wait, 100%. And I think that on how horrible this rollout was, it genuinely did take away a lot of the excitement for this album. And it was honestly still a little bit disappointing for how long he made us wait. Like, I was really expecting this to like add years back onto my lifespan when I heard it. But after I heard it, I was like, oh, well, that's pretty good, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was by far my least favorite Playboi Carti album. And there's obviously great songs on there, songs like Olympia, songs like all the ones I said earlier, but I can't get into it that much yet. I feel like it's definitely not album of the year. I got The Weeknd's album over it, but yeah, I think it's in like my top 5, easily in my top 20 albums of the year so far. It's only March though. But with that being said, at number 3 we have Self-Titled, and I think that Self-Titled is also a pretty good album. I think I Am Music is a pretty good album. I think Self-Titled is a great album. You know what I'm saying? What a way to start your career. Kind of. Like, I mean, he was already like a foot in the game before this, but I think that Self-Titled was an incredible album, and I really would not mind you putting it at the number 2 spot. I think it's a little bit confusing for me in these maybe, bro, I'm not gonna lie. 3, 2, and 1 are, in my opinion, a little bit swappable. He has a bunch of really good albums. But with that being said, at number 2, we have Whole Lotta Red and the high-pitched Carti, bro. I think that the beat selection here was incredible. I also would like to point out that this, as well as I Am Music, the beat selection, in my opinion, was almost better than the actual, like flows that Carti had. I think that Playboi Carti was carried by a lot of the production on these songs, bro, because this entire time I was listening to both of these, I'm like, bro, imagine somebody else on these beats. You know what I'm saying? Imagine a person who's like, is actually not lazy rapping on these beats. Because low-key, Playboi Carti's kind of lazy. And I think that one of the biggest things about him is he needs aura, bro. He needs to look cool in order to enjoy his music. And when he doesn't look cool, it kind of takes a lot away from his album experiences. But Whole Lotta Red was definitely pretty interesting. Definitely had its own, like, world-building experience. I definitely enjoy it for that. And in my opinion, the greatest Playboi Carti album of all time is Die Lit. And I think that this album cover is iconic. I think that this entire track list is iconic. There's really not a single, like, massive miss on here. And look, even Self-Titled, I go back to Self-Titled. I was really thinking about putting Self-Titled at number 2, but I don't want to seem like a person who's like, oh, I hate new Carti. You know what I'm saying? I think that the amount of people that Whole Lotta Red inspired made it be able to be at the number 2 spot. You know, everybody was loving that. Well, not everybody was loving that, but it changed a lot. At number 1, though, obviously, like I said, Die Lit. I think that this had a lot of his greatest songs on here, a lot of his greatest flows on here, a lot of his greatest, like, style is on this album, and I really wish that he would be able to replicate this same type of vibe. Sometimes he does, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the flows that he has, the catchiness that he has, does definitely match up to this, but yeah, bro, there's really, one of the biggest reasons why I had to do a 2-part for this video is because of the fact that if I really were to just, like, talk about 4 Playboi Carti albums, I feel like y'all wouldn't be satisfied. So I might as well knock 2 birds out with 1 stone. You know what I'm saying? Make 2 videos so I don't gotta make a bunch of little videos, bunch of little baby videos. And yeah, so that is my ranking of every single Playboi Carti album from worst to best, as well as from least controversial to most controversial. With that being said, I'm about to go make some chicken patties. And yeah, if you guys still have any cranberry juice left at the end of this video, if you brought some cranberry juice like I said, then enjoy the rest of your cranberry juice or whatever you have right now if you have a snack. And yeah, I love you all very much. I'm conflicted, and I'm out. Peace.